Today we're going to talk about mini-lathes. I've been researching them and shopping for a mini-lathe for a couple weeks now, and thought I'd just bring this video online starting in the research process, just to show you what I went through and maybe save you some time. So this all started a few weeks ago. I was on YouTube and I came across this video by This Old Tony, who actually, I really like his video styles. He's pretty good at teaching, but he's also kind of funny. And he did a video about like cheap Chinese mini lathes. Here it is, this one, the infamous mini lathe. And then he did a couple more about improving upon it as he went. And I enjoyed that, learned a lot from it, have gone on to watch some of his other videos as well. So that led me down kind of a rabbit hole of other things. And one of the other videos I came across, or really a whole series of videos, was Frank Hoos, who, this is his channel right here. And his stuff is pretty amazing. So I started watching his videos, and then, he talks about his webpage in his videos. And so I decided to check that out. And so you'll end up here at mini-lathe.com, which, this website he did many years ago. And you can kind of tell by how it looks, but he started it actually in 2002. But if you can get around that part and just actually read his content, if you're really interested in this topic, I have not found anyone who knows more about it than this guy. So I really enjoyed reading his stuff. So I recommend you check that out. And that will kind of lead you maybe closer to where you want to be. So then I started researching further and doing some Google searches and things like that. And I found this product, which looked really nice. This is the Proxxon PD250E. And I like the look of this machine. It looks, well made. It's not super expensive. So I thought, oh, this is kind of cool. But then I found out, number one, it doesn't have a brushless motor, and number two, it only does metric threads. So if you need to do standard threads, if you're going to make anything with threads on it that you want to mate up to something that has standard threads, you can't use this lathe. From what I understand, now I'm learning here, so if I'm wrong about that, I'm sure someone will point it out. But from what I understand, this is metric only. And so then, I'm looking at things like Harbor Freight, like this lathe here, which apparently is sold under many different brands. And, there's different versions of this. Of course, you can use the 20% off coupons that you find everywhere and get this quite a bit cheaper than that. But that led me back to YouTube, back to another guy named Tim Nummy, I think is his name. Let me see. Yeah. So this guy has a video about how he got one of these cheap Chinese lathes, kind of like the Harbor Freight. And here his cheap Chinese mini lathe unboxing, setup, upgrading, and testing. And the first video he posted after that was about how he had to make a new motor mount for it because the motor mount wasn't loose. And then here he is like soldering on the board, and he basically has a whole series of videos where he talks about all the stuff he had to fix on this lathe. And I'm not really put off by that. I mean, I am, but I don't mind like some DIY and learning, and I'm all about learning. But I want to buy a machine that I can give to my son when he gets older, you know, something that's going to be quality. Also have to look at it every day because it's going to be here in my shop, in my office. And, you know, I want something that's not going to create frustration. I don't have a super huge amount of time to fool with this. So I don't want to get something that I'm going to have to spend a ton of time fixing before I can actually do the things that I want to do with it. So that actually kind of turned me off to the like super cheap lathes. And then you get in kind of the middle ground. So you have Grizzly, which is also a Chinese lathe, but seems to be a little bit better. And there are a ton of videos about this one. Or you know, there's another model that's pretty popular. And this is okay. One of the things I really liked about the Grizzly is that it has the digital readout for the RPMs built into it, and not many of them that I've seen come with that, and it's a pretty expensive add-on if you want to add that. But they don't offer one with a brushless motor, and I kind of, you know, being familiar with things in the RC world and brushless motors versus regular motors, what I've learned, I mean, I really like the way brushless motors work. And so I kind of wanted to go brushless. So then, you know, I got into Micromark, which is this Microlux 7x16, is what Frank Hoos recommends. And I started reading about it, and it seems pretty nice. It's got a brushless motor, you know, 500 watt brushless motor, looks pretty good. Of course, doesn't have a digital readout on the RPMs, but, you know, to Frank's point, people used lathes for hundreds of years with no digital readout, and they were just fine. So I'm not making that an absolute requirement, not as much as brushless. Let's see, what else did I look at? So then I ended up doing some research here on this hobbymachinist.com, which is supposed to be the friendly machinist forum. I thought that was interesting that they put that in there, because maybe machinists are dicks. I don't know. But these guys, you know, there's a lot of information here. I have not spent a lot of time here yet, but I'm going to. But what a lot of these guys started talking about, Sherline. Many people started talking about Sherline. Here, the Sherline is a beautiful machine. Case in point. So then I thought, oh, well, I better check them out. I've never even heard of them. So I go to Sherline, which apparently these are made in the USA, in California. You have to pick whether you want inch or metric before you buy it. And then, you know, you're at about this $1,200 range to start out. Well, what I learned about this after a little bit of research is that the opening through the headstock, so if you want to pass a piece of work through the headstock and stick out through your chuck and work on it, so maybe you have a long shaft, like a, I don't know, like an arrow or something, I don't know, something long and skinny that you want to put through there. The opening in there is pretty small on this machine. Let's see, where is it? It's probably like right in front of me, and I'm looking like an idiot. Here's specs. Hole through the spindle, 10 millimeters. I mean, that's not very big. And so then I got thinking, well, that's going to limit you pretty significantly. So also, I'm pretty sure this is not a brushless motor. Yeah, it's just a DC motor, so it's not brushless either. So then I thought, well, maybe that's not the right thing. So then I went back to, let's see, I went to Little Machine Shop, who Frank Hoos talks about all the time. And I'm wondering if their product lineup changed since Frank did his videos, because he doesn't really talk about it like this. But anyway, this 5100 they have has a brushless motor. It's a 7x16, which once you get into this and you start learning about the limitations, the longer your bed. So this whenever you see these numbers, the 16, the second number after the by, after the X, is the length of the bed and dictates how large something you can work on is. And so if you're going to go with like a 7x10, by the time you put your tools in here and your work piece, you have very little room to work. So I didn't want to do 7x10. So this 7x16 is appealing to me. It's brushless. And then the other thing that I noticed was that this comes with a 4-inch three jaw chuck. Most of the lathes in this category come with a 3-inch chuck. And that's this piece right here where you're putting your work. And the bigger that is, the bigger the piece of metal you can put in there. And that's like a thing that you don't have to upgrade right out of the gate, is adding a 4-inch chuck. And so this one is $949 right now. I'm filming this in August of 2019. So you'll want to check these prices. But if you look at the Microlux Micromark, which is almost the same thing, right? This one's $50 more. It's $9.99, and it comes with a 3.15-inch chuck. So it's a smaller chuck. It's $50 more, but it's basically the same machine otherwise. As from my layman's eyes, I don't know much about this at all yet. So I'm kind of the point of this video is that I'm taking you with me on this journey as I'm learning about all these lathes. So that's kind of what got me to basically the point where I'm ready to buy this from Little Machine Shop, and get, a lathe that's $50 cheaper, comes with a 4-inch chuck, 16-inch bed, brushless motor. I'm going to do without the digital readout on the RPMs for now. They charge like a ton for that. Let's see if I can show you. Let's see. Oh, here it is right here. It's on this page. Duh. So yeah, this thing is $160 to add digital readout. I've seen tachometers, digital tachs on Amazon for like less than $20. I don't know how well that would work. I haven't researched to see if anybody's actually put one of those on a lathe. But that might be a fun project. I may look into that. I don't really want to spend $160 on it. But what I am going to get when I order it is one of these tooling packages. So if you're looking at a particular lathe and you look up here where it says related products and you click on the tooling packages, these are all of the tools, the extra tooling bits that you need to kind of get to work right away as soon as you buy this thing. Now they have a lot of options, and if you look at their tooling kits, you'll see they have many different options. But if you go through this path, if you click where I clicked, this is filtering this list to the tools that are specific to this model, and that was confusing to me at first. But so the thing that I need to figure out is whether I want this 4116 tooling package premium or this one down here 5207, and I'll tell you what I'm after. So you need this chuck here for the tailstock so that you can do drilling operations, and so the only way you can do that is with the chuck on the tailstock. It doesn't come with that, so I need that, and I want a quick change tool post, which is this thing right here, which basically what I've learned from all the videos I've watched is you're going to be pretty frustrated if you don't have one of these because of how long it takes to change, to swap out a tool for a different tool. And then this comes with these center drills and the arbor, which is this thing right here. So this is appealing to me, but this one here comes with a couple more tools, a different quick change tool post. That's what this CQTP is. I'm not sure why they abbreviate that, because if you're a noob and you're on here shopping for this, it'd be nice to spell that out. Just a heads up for Little Machine Shop. It took me a minute to figure that out. I mean, I know it's not hard, but in terms of like SEO and things like that, if you're shopping for a quick change tool post, you're never going to find this page because they call it QCTP. Anyway, so this comes with, some more tools, but it's cheaper than the other one. So I think that it's like maybe slightly lower quality than the other tools, because you get more stuff, but it's less money. So that part is a little confusing to me also. Like, they probably ought to have a thing on here that's like good, better, best, or gold, silver, platinum, or I don't know, some way to explain the difference between these. I don't know, maybe I'm stupid, but that's would have helped me as like a new person learning about this. All right, so that's kind of what I've decided. I'm going to get one of these tools, probably this and the lathe that I just showed you. And I've got a bench over here in my workshop that I want to put it on. So I'm really excited about this. And I'm going to get it, and I'll let you know how that goes. And you can check back in another video. Thanks for watching.